Hi, and welcome to Echoing Voices. My name is Ronnie, and I'm so excited that we've got two special guests on today's podcast interview. And it's Scout's Trail, Scout and Michelle. So Scout and Michelle have been on my podcast, I think a couple of times now, but it's probably over a year ago since we've chatted. And I think the last time we chatted, she had Tuk Tuk, which was her new Mustang that she was gentling, which is what they call the training there. And I know she's had another Mustang called Lady B, who's recently gone to a new home. But what I'll do is I'll bring Michelle and Scout in, and they can explain a little bit about themselves and what they're doing on their amazing adventures of traveling around America.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, Scout. Hi, Michelle. Oh, I'm so happy to have you back again. I keep watching your updates, so I haven't lost touch. I've been watching what you've been getting up to, not everything. So would you like to, just for the benefit of the people that maybe don't know who you are, just give a brief introduction on yourselves and what it is that you're doing in this amazing life?
In 2019, Scout and I decided as our method to overcome just like stress of life and just to achieve better mental health from what was currently happening. I'm retired as a firefighter, and we sold all our possessions in our house, and we loaded our horses and dogs in a trailer, and we've been seeing America by horseback ever since. And it's been amazing therapy. The plan worked as planned, and so our life has changed and over the years. But in the past year, since we've talked to you, Scout, of course, trained Tuk Tuk and has a passion to help Mustangs. And then another thing we did this winter, we've got some land in the desert in Arizona. So we've been creating a homestead. So we have 10 acres. Our horses have had a nice sabbatical where they can just roam and recoup from traveling. And we're working on a tiny home, and we trained a service dog, which is another thing I retired from. So Scout has learned how to train a service dog. So yeah, it's been really busy year for us.
Wow. So you've got some land. So that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was really, especially because we traveled all the time during COVID and had no place to really go. It was it was really a little stressful sometimes that we didn't have a place to just go and sit. And sometimes we just want to sit in one place and not worry about when we have to leave, or, people have been very gracious to let us stay on their place, but we're very aware that we, don't want to overstay our welcome. And so it's nice to just have our own place. And it's been great for the horses. So, and it's also for Scout's future. So we're setting it up as a place for her to train. And as she gets older, she'll be offering horse training. And I think our plan for the fall is for her to start her third Mustang there. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that?
Well, of course, we'll be traveling around during the summer and just going around doing our usual traveling. But then when we come back to Arizona next fall/winter, we have it set up with round pen and stuff to train a new Mustang, so which will go to a new home once I completely gentle it. It'll probably be a baby like I normally do, so like 18 months old usually.
And tell your Scout has a specific niche she's working on.
I train all my horses in trail riding, so they can go down hills and they can carry things while you ride, and they can just follow you, or they can be on leashes, and they're just amazing trail horses to be able to ride with you, and it'll be a forever partner.
Yeah, I think some people have commented that, they're wild Mustangs, they know how to be trail horses. And well, that's not necessarily true, because they are just familiar with whatever landscape they came from on their particular range. So when we're trail riding, we're exposing them to water crossings and steeps and switchbacks and all of that. And how do you start the Mustangs?
Completely at liberty.
Yeah, so they'll be really like prepared from the grounds with a foundation to become great trail horses.
I mean, for an adult to train a horse is something. So for Scout to do that, I mean, she's 14 years old. You're 14 years old, Scout, and to do that is amazing. So what people say about that, that's by the by. For a 14-year-old girl, in fact, younger at the time, to start training a Mustang is something that people would dream of, and especially the way that you do it, because I love the way that you call it gentling. It isn't, and it's such a gentle way that you're working in liberty. And you've also got Mr. Nelson. I remember Mr. Nelson from last time. He's a little monkey toy that you put on the backpacks and the saddles, isn't it, to get them used to? Yeah.
It's not really to get he doesn't really weigh anything. He probably weighs half a pound. It's just to make our already a circus of herd just more funny for everyone. But yeah, he rides Tuk Tuk when Tuk Tuk carries a pack.
Yeah. And tell them about Lady B and who her rider was and why you chose the name.
Well, Lady B, my last Mustang that I did in the summer of 2022, she got the name from Lady Longrider Bernice End, who sadly passed away in October of 2021. But she rode, I believe, over 30,000 miles around the country from 2005 all the way up until 2021 with her horses. And she had a dog who rode on one of her pack style horses, whose name was
I'm forgetting her name right now.
Me too. But that was her rider who would ride on her. It was a little stuffed border collie looking dog.
Yeah. So it became sort of became a theme for Scout now. She's got little each of her little Mustangs will have a mascot.
Yeah. Which is lovely, isn't it? I mean, that's it's your thing. Would you like to just give us a little bit of information on the horse that you have? So you have Joker, Hetty Wooty. I've said it right this time, haven't I?
Yes.
And Dakota. Would you like to just give a little background to the horses that you have, the ones that have been part of your herd?
DNA.
We have our 4. So Joker is her horse. He's the only horse or animal that we've ever bought. We got him after I had my riding accident almost 4 years ago. And 4 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah, 5. He used to be a Western dressage horse, and he went through a few owners before us. And now he is an amazing trail horse for her. He's great with the Mustangs. And then
what's his breed?
He is an Arabian paint horse. And then our extra horse, Hedda Woody, is a Appaloosa, and we got her, I think, almost 7 years ago. She was an abused broodmare, and she was thrown away. We got her from a kill auction, and now she is living her best life of retirement. She's currently 32 and just gets stronger every year. We call her Immortal. And then there's my riding horse, Coda. She is almost 21 in June. And I recently got her and Tuk Tuk DNA tested. And so she is a cream draft, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, a Gelasino, and Welsh pony, surprisingly. And so,
what was she? Where did she come from?
What do you mean?
As a baby.
Oh, as a baby. She was a nurse mare foal. She came in a herd of, I think, 12 horses that my mom helped train and work with when they were all babies. They were anywhere from 2 hours to, I think, 2 weeks old. 2 days old. And once she finished training, she got to keep one, and she chose Coda. So we've had her since she was just 2 days old, and she loves helping with the baby Mustangs. She absolutely adores them. And then there's my Mustang, the first ever Mustang I trained, Tuk Tuk, who recently turned 3. I also got him DNA tested, and all of his breeds are gated breeds, so that's kind of exciting. He is a Tennessee Walker, Missouri Foxtrotter, and Standard bred. And he was, for the first 8 months of his life, he lived in the wild with his herd in Wyoming. Stewart Creek was his herd management area. And then until he was about 18 months old, he lived in a holding pen in Rock Springs holding pen in Wyoming. And then I adopted him and I trained him in September 1st, we started, of 2021.
And who did you mentor with to do that?
And I mentored with Hannah Catalino of Hannah Catalino Liberty Horsemanship. She's also she's in Montana.
Wow.
It was a really intensive time. They worked together 3 times a day for 2 weeks. And Hannah also had a video made, and it hasn't come out yet. But when it does come out, it's how to start a Mustang at Liberty. And so Scout and Tuk Tuk will be the stars of that when it finally makes it through production. But that was an intensive time for Scout and Hannah, and a lot of hard work, and Tuk Tuk was a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spent an extra week there just getting him ready to hit the road. And at the end of the 3rd week, he started traveling with us full time.
So how is he doing? I mean, I know because I've seen videos, but for people that don't know him, how's it going? How's it going with his training?
He is doing absolutely amazing. We recently got him his own pack saddle that he can wear, and he carries our first aid kit and any extra water that we have when we go out on rides. He's insanely tall. I mean, his butt is almost taller than my head, and I'm 5'1". And yeah, he's doing great. He loves living on our 10 acres and being able to run around and frolic and having a great time. I'm probably gonna start working on laying over him, and I'll show my process of doing that. I won't start riding him until he's 5.5. But I can start just leaning over him and having him get used to the look and feel and sensation of me being over him in the way that I would mount him.
And you can sit on him.
And I can sit on him, but not move, but not
just in the
riding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're doing that. You're doing that for a reason, aren't you, Scout?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So horses' spines, their spines are the last things to fuse when they're growing, and that usually happens between the ages of 5 and 7. I mean, every horse is going to be different, but no earlier than like 5.5. So when we went to Dr. Thomas Teskey a couple weeks ago, we talked to him about that, and he said that I could, because of Tuk Tuk's build, I could start riding him when he's avidly riding him when he's 5.5. And that would be okay for me to work on just sitting on him now. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Wow. I'm just sat listening to you, and I'm still in awe because I know a lot of what you've just mentioned because I do follow you, and it's lovely to see your videos, and I love the way that you keep everybody interested and informed what's going on with your journeys and your travels, and especially when you do it and you're filming on the horseback, because it's like you're there with you. I love that part. So Michelle, you've got a place that you're going to call home now. Does this mean that you're going to stop traveling, or are you still going to do some traveling too?
Oh, it's definitely not stopping traveling. We're setting it up so, well, the purpose of it is so we have a place to go should we ever need to or want to. That's our own, so that Scout will have a place to call her own, when she's an adult, so she has her own training location and home, so that but it's being designed so we can just close it up and leave anytime we want, so it's not the kind of place that needs to be maintained. So we can just travel all we want, but it's really the most only place in the country that's always nice. Like we don't have to worry
Well,
about it snowing.
always nice in the winter, not in the summer.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah. Always nice in the winter. So for the winter months, it's great to come and have a cycle of like resting and pausing and letting the horses just take a break from being on the trailer so much. And maybe we didn't get to it this year, and we'll tell you why soon. We were planning to start writing our book this winter, but that got put on hold because another project came up. But I think it's a time where we could write and just work on those kinds of projects. But then we're absolutely going to continue traveling. We do have a camp in Washington, so in the summer we will end up way up there because it's really beautiful for summers up there. But definitely all moving. We have a lot of places we still haven't seen, so there's a lot of country to see. So we're not planning to stop traveling.
Well, it's a huge country. A huge country. You look really well, Michelle. I must say, I'm looking at you and you look you both do. You look really glowy. You look as if the years have just taken away any stresses. Now, I don't mean you haven't had stresses because I know you have, but you just look like you're living the dream. And when I say that again, it doesn't mean it's rose tinted glasses the whole time, but you're just loving what you do in your adventure. And what a thing to have a place that you can call home, and then you can still do what you love as well. I mean, you got the best of both worlds. I'm a little bit envious.
Yeah, it's worked perfect for us. You know, what we do might not be right for everyone, but thankfully Scout and I both have the same like needs and desires. And a lot of that is that we just like to be off by ourselves in the like desert or the mountains with our animals. And we don't go to town too much. So, we just enjoy being with our animals, and we always have plenty to do and plenty to work on. And we don't, it's just made us really happy. And it has just taken so much pressure and stress away from us to live this life, which may not be right for everyone, but it was the perfect prescription for us to get cured of what ailed us.
Yeah. And that just shows in both of you. Obviously you've met lots of amazing, interesting people on your journey, people that you've crossed paths when you're riding, and I know you've done some sightseeing as well. So you're not just sat on the horse and doing that the whole time. You're going out sightseeing, and you mentioned. Is it Thomas Teskey? Yeah, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. So thank you for that tip. I shall contact him. What have you got planned? Sorry, Scout?
He's amazing. Absolutely phenomenal.
Would you want to tell people who he is? You can mention who he is, what he does.
Well, he's a holistic veterinarian, and he does whole body health, whole body dental. And like David Landreville, who's also amazing if you haven't interviewed him yet, who's also here in Arizona, they do barefoot trimming from the inside out. So but to develop a healthy hoof, there's just so much more than shaping a hoof like it's a sculpture. You have to, understand. But, we learned about this whole body dental where just the way a horse's front teeth align. Well, let me say it a different way. And I'm not the expert, so I don't want to say too much. But if a horse's gait is a certain way, they already know what needs to be, that might be off, what's wrong with their teeth. And when we went, we brought the boys, Joker and Tuk Tuk, and Joker went second. And if you go back and you can watch a video where Tuk Tuk is getting his teeth done, and Joker is literally standing over Dr. Teskey's shoulder with his mouth open, begging to have him have a turn, like he knew what was about to happen, because most of the time dentists don't touch their front incisors, and that's what he needed. And Joker had been begging me for help with his pole, and we've tried to do a lot of body work, and nobody was really ever able to help with that. And mostly he didn't want anyone to touch it. And when Dr. Teskey was doing his incisors, There was no sedation, no thing holding his mouth open. Joker, and as he was doing it, Joker was pushing into him like he was so grateful. And when he finished, what the result was is Joker's jaw was released from whatever that bad tooth alignment was causing his jaw not to be free, which was then causing that stiffness in his poll. And then he showed us these passive stretches for him to stretch his own neck out. And it was crazy, unbelievable, just that simple little bit. But even when we got there, he just watched the horses move in a pen for like half an hour before he even touched anyone. It's just all really like quiet and observational and, you know, just about looking at everything about the horse, not trying to focus in on one thing, but recognizing all the pieces come together they're all interconnected. You can't solve one thing without addressing the others. And so, yeah, it was really, really nice. And Scout did learn. We've been learning about hoof trimming by following David Landreville. And our horses are so much better since we started following him. And we had a chance encounter with him a year ago. And he's the one who did Tuk Tuk's first like full hoof trim and gave Scout a bit of a lesson. And so he's super kind and gracious with information. And so Scout's been trimming Tuk Tuk's hooves all this time. And she was really proud when Dr. Teskey was so excited about how good Tuk Tuk's hooves looked. So that was nice.
Wow, that's really good confirmation for you, Scout, that you're doing the right thing. Here in the UK, we're not allowed to trim our horses' feet. We're not allowed to touch them.
Wow.
So you have to have a special license. But I mean, obviously, you're a huge country and, you know, you need to look after your horse's feet. And there is not always a farrier or a trimmer near you. But yeah, in the UK, it's illegal to do your own horse's feet. But you want to know what you're doing as well. So, I mean, you know, you've had an expert that's shown you, and but that's amazing that you're doing that, Scout. So good on you. And you also got to meet Mark Rashid. Now, was it through the same people?
How did we find out Mark
Well,
Rashid?
Maddie Caballo.
Oh, yeah, Maddie Caballo.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever interviewed Maddie Caballo, but she's an amazing person. And she is the executive producer of a movie called, what's her movie called?
The Box.
The Box. So it's about her life, really. And she's an amazing, inspirational speaker. And she's involved with equine assisted therapies. But we met her. Scout got a scholarship this winter to go to the international, what's it called, Scout? It was for equine assisted psychotherapists. So it was the international summit. So there were people from all over the world there, and Scout got a scholarship to go, and I got a scholarship to go as her responsible adult. Yep. So that was amazing. And Maddie was the keynote speaker, and Maddie and Scout hit it off immediately and became fast friends. And she also lives near here. Yeah. And she's the one that told us Mark Rashid was doing a clinic. And so we got to go and audit the clinic, which was amazing. And that was sort of what started finding Dr. Teskey, because he was the one talking about whole body dental. And then because Joker was off and I've been trying to solve his problem, I then went on a quest to find such a person and couldn't find anything. And one of the local participants is the one that told me about Dr. Teskey. So that is a kind of how it all came about.
Mm-hmm. So, synchronicities are amazing when things line up.
Yes.
And when you're looking for something, they tend to sort of come towards you or fall near you, or you get a clue or something. But I love that. Because you call it floating, don't you? So it's not the mechanical teeth. It's the hands version, isn't it? You call it floating.
Yeah, the mechanical would be called power floating.
Power tools,
So
yeah.
yeah, and so this would be done by hand. So to be careful not to take off too much and to just take off what you need. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No, it's okay.
I recently had, well, it was last year, this, because again, they're quite difficult to find in the UK, people that don't use the power tools, that, you know, it's they have to travel quite a way because there's not anybody near where I am. And luckily found somebody through synchronicities last year, and he came to do my horses, Toots and Francis. And again, he was doing the front because they weren't matching. And he had to do quite a bit he didn't actually have to take a lot off, but he had to do quite a bit of adjusting. And it was really interesting because afterwards they were having to get used to a different bite. So as they were chewing the hay, it was better and they weren't spitting anything out, but it was like they was having to get used to that different action, that movement in the jaw, in the skull. Which, yeah, it's fascinating. And it is, of course, looking at the whole horse, because if you change one thing, it's like a dominoes. It doesn't matter how much, there's an adjustment somewhere else. So you can't look at one thing and not think it's going to affect, you know, the feet and vice versa. So it's quite complicated, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it's just so, there's just so many small things that, and I guess I would like to say, so as a public service to all horses, the more we talk about these things, you know, Scout has so many followers now, and everyone that knows her, you know, knows where she's coming from, but we get maybe some new people, and they'll make comments like this one in particular. Well, some old timer just said, give my horse raw, you know, hard corn once in a while, and that'll keep his teeth down. And I've never had any problems. And with all different things, saddles especially, I've never had any problems. And horses are prey animals, so their DNA says don't ever show weakness, because the weak animal in a herd is the one that gets eaten by the predator. So our horses, by the time they say we have pain, it's significant and been going on for a long time. And so I think there's a lot of horses that have never worn a saddle that didn't hurt, or, you know, has just live a life without any pain, because they just learn to accept it and tolerate it. And, or if they protest, then they get marked as bad or aggressive, or, you know, that they're just trying to speak their voice and people aren't listening. So we hope that through all these things we're sharing, that people learn to pay more attention to their horse. So recently we watched a video from this man that has the corrector saddle, and mentioned how on a saddle tree, the stirrup leather goes around the bar, and that they don't, almost all saddle makers don't compensate on the part of the bar that touches the horse for that little thin strip of leather, but that ends up feeling like a rock in your sock. And if you lift up your skirt and you see a shiny rub right over where that stirrup is on your bar, that your horse is having that constant pressure into their back. And it's just all these little things that the horse probably isn't complaining about, but maybe that's why they're not performing their best. And then eventually it can become a really bad issue.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. And like you said, they don't always complain because they know that that's the way it is, or they just get on and do it. And some horses are more stoic than others. Some are really sensitive, and they will show you, and they get labeled with, you know, being either a moody mare or you know, bad behavior. It's come from something. It's not a case of being bad or naughty for no reason, because that's not how it works.
Exactly.
I mean, they can be cheeky. They can be cheeky things, like ponies can be cheeky, but it's not the same as being, you know, uncomfortable. It's for other reasons. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. And I think sometimes because something's done a certain way and it's the norm, people think, well, it must be fine. It's only when you question things and start to look at things a bit deeper and the bigger picture, not just the small part, that you ask questions. And when you ask questions, then that's when you get your answers sometimes, or you get an answer that takes you to another question, and then to another answer, and then to another question. It can be a long road or a short road, but at least you're communicating with your animals and you're listening, and they're able to show you that this is not right, or that's right. And if you see an animal every day, you get used to what you see, the same as a person. And it's only if somebody points something out that actually that eye is telling me that they're not comfortable. Just look at them. What are you really looking at? And then they can see that, and then you can point, like body work. If you're doing a slight touch, you can see your horse reacting, and that's a way of showing a person, look, this is how sensitive they can be. So imagine how much they feel when you're on them. I saw a little video of a guy. I can't remember who he was. He posted a video of mounting a horse, and it was Western, so it was a Western saddle, and he was showing that you can mount a horse without having a cinch on, which is a girth in the UK. You can get on a horse with no pressure and with very little pull. And he was showing you mounting a horse from the ground, the correct way to mount the horse, and the saddle wasn't secured in any way, and the saddle hardly moved, and the horse was comfortable. He says, so if you can do this way, there is no need to get on a horse from the ground, yanking the saddle on its back. There's no need for that. And I thought, that's just amazing. It's a little tiny 3-minute video, but it made sense. And he got close to the horse's body, and he uses the body on the other side, so he could use, but it was a maneuver he used to get on the horse. So very little weight was in the stirrup, even though his foot was in the stirrup. So things like that, just to share. And it's just another way of thinking and showing somebody that there's always another way. So what was the thing, because you're going to say something about writing a book, but you've got something else coming up. Do you want to share what that is?
I've been talking, you talk.
Well, back in November, when we first came here, we don't usually leave the property. We can stay there for over a week, but for some reason, she had to drive out like 3 days in a row. And every day there was this dog in the exact same spot. And in our area, a lot of dogs just get dumped in the desert. It's really sad. And every day there was this one dog that was just sitting there, probably waiting for his owner to come back. And on the second or third day, she finally decided that she was going to get out and she was going to try and lure him in. It took her about 20 minutes, but eventually she got him in the truck and she brought him home. And we started training him. At the time, we needed to find a service dog for someone. So he was like the perfect size, the perfect build, everything. So we got him and we started training him. And then that fell through. But one of her old clients, a really amazing client, this family, they needed a new service dog. And so she had talked to them about him for whatever reason. And we eventually decided that this dog, Zorro, he's back here somewhere, was going to be her service dog. So I've started learning how to train a service dog for this past, I think by the time he leaves, it'll be about 4 months. And it's been a really awesome experience.
Wow. Another string to your bow, Scout. That means another skill. So when you say service dog, what kind of service is he going to be?
What does he do? She's saying.
He's going to be, he helps the woman with balance. And he has also really helped me. I can have a hard time going out into public for a really long time, but he's been able to help me do things that I have never been able to do before.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's something you're going to be doing more of, do you think?
Service dogs, probably not.
It depends
No,
what
she
pops up.
learned. She was very good at it because I use clicker training
Mm.
or operant conditioning. I've trained service dogs for over 20 years, and that's just one of the things I retired from. And but I use clicker training for them, which is also how she's learned to train horses. So she was a natural at training the dog because it was the type of training she already knew how to do. So she was so beneficial, and it was really helpful because this dog would become too attached to me, and he needs to know that someone else is going to be her handler. And the person who's getting him, I trained her first dog for her when she was 6 years old, and she's now 26, and she needs a new dog. And it was just again, just synchronicity that this dog just appeared in the desert when she needed a new dog, and it all just came together crazy, just boom at the same time. But so she's the same size as Scout, and so Scout started taking over a lot of his training, and then all of his in public training out in stores and things, and they just did amazing together. And yeah, Scout can go out in public, but it's extremely difficult for her. She gets physical issues. She gets overwhelmed. She has to leave. She can't stay as long as she'd like. Like it's, just different. And then it makes her sad. It's just really hard. And so with her out with Zorro, it's been amazing how it's affected her in a positive way. And I think it made her start to think that she would like to have a service dog. Because of the difference, how it changed her life. Like, she can't just stay in the woods in the desert forever. Yeah. She's going to become an adult, and she has to be able to comfortably, not just, you don't want to just go out in public in a survival mode. You want to be able to enjoy all parts of your life and all the things that you have to do. So that was something that really came up. And yeah, so she probably is going to train one more, and that will be her own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. And the thing is, when you're with your horses and when you're showing videos and when you're working with your horses, Scout, you just glow because you love it, and I think that gives you the confidence, and you've got something to focus on. So I'm assuming it's the same thing with the dogs. You've got somebody else to think about, to interact with, so it's not just like you. I mean, I'm not you, so I don't understand that feeling you get, but I'm assuming that if you've got somebody else that you're looking at them, you're focusing, your energy's going that way rather than worrying about other things. So that's amazing. You must be so proud of Scout, but Scout, you must be so proud of your mum too. She's an awesome mum, and the fact that you get to do what you do is credit to yourself, but also to your mum as well. I mean, that's just, you two ladies are inspiring for lots of people. And I don't think it's just about having a dream to go travel. I think what you show and what comes across is determination, hard work as well. It's not, like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's such a joy because you get something from every experience and you share that with people, and you share the hard bits and the exciting bits as well, so from me, I'd like to say thank you for sharing your life, because it is inspiring, and it's lovely to see. From my point of view, and from a lot of people too. We have got quite a few people that stopped by to say hello, so I'm just going to quickly put their comments on. So this is from Gail. She says, wow, what adventures you must be having. So I don't know if you know these ladies. I know.
I can see it.
Yeah, so there's Gail. And then we've got Patty. Hi, ladies, from California. Cool, California. Oh, you can tell I'm English, can't you? And then we've got Maddie. So great to see
Maddie.
you. So you know that lady.
That's
Yeah.
who we told you has the
Oh,
movie.
Maddie can
okay. Hi, Maddie. um, so if anybody wants to ask Scout and Michelle a question, if you'd like to put on the comments, if you'd like to ask them something, that'd be lovely. And we'll
Well,
see.
that comment, people frequently send us a comment like that one that Joyce is saying, and it's impossible to keep track of things. But if people have a place that you either want us to come speak, because we can do speak at your club or your whatever group, or if you have a place where we can set up to boondock on your property and you want us to visit and you want us to ride with you, we are happy to do those things. But we can't keep track of random comments on Facebook. You have to actually direct message us with at least at a minimum your town, and then we put that on our Google map, and as we're traveling, if we end up in your area, we'll contact you, or if we're going to be ending up in your area, or sometimes we're just looking for a place to land as we're traveling. So people just have to send us that through a direct message with an actual location, because it's impossible to go back and search through this just on comments.
Yeah, you'll have so many. Do you have an email address, or do you just want people to contact you through Messenger?
The best way is on Messenger.
Yeah.
Because that's the most common way for us to see it quickly, and
we always check that at least once a day, if not multiple times.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lady here. Do you know this lady, Lynn Harrington?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was up in Washington.
Yeah.
On the Washington border.
Yes, you spoke at Black Country Horseman Group. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Thank you for everybody that's stopping on by and just saying hi to Scout and Michelle. It means a lot to them and to me too. So once again, if you've got any questions, if you'd like to leave a comment, and then we'll try and get that before we finish our chat this evening. So what have you got in the pipeline? What's coming up? Anything more exciting?
Well, we have something more exciting, and Ronnie, we're going to use your show for the big reveal.
Oh my God.
Because this is actually why we're not home, right? This is why we're talking to you on the side of the road, because something happened this morning that was last minute. Oh, this is Zorro right here.
He's gorgeous.
Going to be heading to Connecticut next week.
He's beautiful.
All right.
This and Puck.
And this is Sisu. Can you get him on the camera?
Yeah.
Good boy.
So who's that?
Well, this is my service dog in training, Sisu.
So is it a girl or a boy?
He's a boy.
Boy, and he's going to be your dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 7 weeks old.
And where did he come from?
He was left on the side of the road, on the side of the highway, actually, with another puppy at a gas station, and he was rescued by a shelter about a week ago, and he's been in a foster home.
And Scout is going to share his training on as she teaches him the tasks that he's going to do for her. And also, everyone's always asking how Puck becomes a great trail dog. And so Sisu also will be becoming a trail dog for Scout. Why don't you put him back now?
Yeah. Let's go back in your
And so she'll be sharing videos on all of that training. So everyone will be able to see how that goes. But
how exciting.
As soon as Scout realized that she'd want a service dog and was actively thinking about it, Sisu popped up in our life. And do you want to tell him how you got the name?
Well, Tuk Tuk, my Mustang. Tuk Tuk is a name from Raya and the Last Dragon. It's a Disney movie. And I was watching that movie when we decided that Tuk Tuk was going to be my... Hi there. That Tuk Tuk was going to be my horse that I was going to train. And Tuk Tuk in the movie... I need to prop myself up. Tuk Tuk in the movie is what Raya rides, kind of like a little roly-poly thing. But then the last dragon in the movie is named Sisu, and that's like her other companion that goes with Raya. So I figured that it would fit with my theme.
Perfect. Oh my God, that's so exciting. And thank you for sharing that new news on our podcast. How exciting is that? Oh.
Yeah,
That's
so that's our
always
pipeline. That's what'll be happening coming up is she'll be starting to do the training to sit on Tuk Tuk, and she'll be training her new puppy, and then we'll all be hitting the road again this spring and traveling. We're hoping to do a pack trip this summer, and we'll be I guess if you are somebody that is interested in us stopping by, kind of our projected plan is Western Texas in April, and then up through New Mexico and Colorado and into Montana. And then we're going to cross all the way to Washington, where we're going to house sit over the 4th of July. And then we're going to come back to Montana to hopefully do a pack trip.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to Washington to spend a couple months in northwestern Washington at our camp for the summer. Then we are going to ride in Monument Valley, Utah in October, which is a really special ride. You can only go in with a native guide, and there's only so many slots available every year. And so we've gotten our own week where I've established my our own group of friends that we're going to go in and be guided by an elder matriarch of the Navajo tribe who will live with them and take us out on daily rides and show us their special places and have sweat lodge and learn about medicinal plants, and it'll just be a great immersive experience. And then we'll probably make our way back here.
Oh my goodness, that my mind's just going. That's such an experience to have. I mean, and such an opportunity for both of you. I can't wait to hear all about that and to see. Are you going to be video and filming some of that as well? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes. So, well, I'm quite sure because many people have posted about their trips there. So yeah, I think you're able to do that. Yeah. You just can't go in without a guide, but you can
talk about it.
You can take pictures and things. And one thing we're kind of looking forward to is on the land, anytime they've found artifacts, like over the years, there's this special, really massive cave, and all of those things are brought there. So it's essentially their museum, but you can only get there, like you ride to it on horseback. And then all these things that have ever been found are laid out there. And then, of course, they're all interpreted for you by this Navajo guide. So I'm pretty excited to experience that, and every ride is to some fantastic place. So if you've never seen the landscape at Monument Valley, you should look it up because it has amazing rock formations.
It's amazing.
I'm not even going to ask you where's your favorite place because you've been to so many places. So I'm not even going to ask that question. But I'm so excited for you guys, and I'm so excited to that we can experience a little bit of that of your adventure by keeping updated with your posts. And like I said, I love your videos because it's almost like you're there, and I love the ones when you're on your horseback and you're just showing us where you're going and the horses and the animals. Wow. Is there anything else you'd like to chat about? I mean, you've said quite a lot actually, but I know you sat in your car and you've got a busy day. But it's a great signal, and it's great that you can connect to us anyway.
Well, I guess I'd like to make a little pitch for Scout's book, A Magical Friendship Journey, which we talked about one of our other times we spoke to you. But if anybody out there has a bookstore or has a friend with a bookstore, we'd really like to get her book in more stores, and the publisher, we can share the publisher information so that they can have her book. It's a fantastic book. And she's working on a second book, children's book. And sadly, the illustrator we had hired got injured and was unable to continue, so that got delayed. So we may even start to finish that on our own. Scout has become quite talented at digital art. She spends several hours every night practicing. She's really passionate about it, and you might see more about that coming up this year when she starts to. She's thinking of making stickers and things to sell, and but we really love to get the current book that she has out there more. But it is available on Amazon, anyways, for right now. But we'd like to get it in some bookstores.
Okay, so I'll add the link to the end of the podcast, so people can find that as well, like I did last time. But
Thank you.
I can't think of anything else to ask you really, because I'm just sat here as a watcher and a listener. Really, I could listen to you for ages. I mean, the adventures that you're having and the experiences in your life, and you've changed. Since I last spoke to you, Scout, you're a lot more confident. So even though you say about going out in public, this is your thing. You're just glowing, both of you. You look so well, and it's great to have you to chat with you again. So we've just got another. There's quite a few comments, so you can read these afterwards. I haven't put them all on, but Beth Rogers says, I love the pictures where Joker is looking out over the vista views during the rides. He always looks like he really enjoys it.
He does. And that what's important to us that the horses enjoy this life as much as we do. And Joker mostly was just an arena horse, and he loves the life on the trail. And when he climbs a hill or a mountain, he really enjoys gazing at the view, and we never push him past there. We always let him stop and enjoy the view, because this trip is for them too. So I think he appreciates his life now, from not that he was not mistreated or anything, but to just have a life on the trail versus always in the arena. And we let him appreciate those views and vistas.
I'm sure there's a lot of horses that would be in awe as well, wishing that they could do the same thing. And it's without question that your horses are your priority. I mean, I know that anyway, and everybody that knows you is aware of that. You're not doing this. Your horses are taken care of very, very well, and they are always considered. And that comes across all the time with all your animals. So how's Pup getting on anyway?
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He'd probably like to be riding a little bit more, but he does have 10 acres as well to roam, and we go on bike rides almost every day, if not multiple times a week, but he's loving life too.
Yeah, he's all healed from his surgery. So he did have his double knee surgery last year, and he's 100%.
He's bionic now.
Yeah, he's all healed up from that, and we can go hiking, and he's just a lot of freedom, and he's pretty happy.
Yeah, he looks it. Well, good luck with your new puppy, Scout. Really looking forward to hearing and seeing all about what goes on there with the training and everything, and you, Michelle, as well. Are you doing any more? I know you did a few camps, or 1 or 2 camps where people could come and go riding with you. Are you doing anything like that again this year?
We're not planning that for this year. I guess it was just a lot of stress for us to have to be in certain places on certain dates, and then for all of them,
a lot of people dropped out,
back out at the last minute, and it just ended up not being worth it for us. It was just too much. So if we're in someone's area, we'll happy to come and drop in and do talks, or whatever we can, but we're not going to schedule any big retreats or things like we did, because that just wasn't fun for us. We will say we made a couple really excellent friends through the people who came, and so we are thankful for that, but we're not planning to do that this year. We really just want to go back to just blowing in the wind and going where we feel like it, without having to be on a schedule too much.
Yeah, I can understand that. And sometimes you do things and realize that it's not for you. You know, you try
Mhm.
things and it's yeah, you get to know what you do want and what you don't want, and that's what happened there. But well, thank you so much for chatting with us, and it's great to see you both, and it's great to hear about your new projects as well. Is there anything you'd like to just say before you leave?
Not that I can think of.
Thank you for always
Yeah,
inviting
thank
us
you.
back. We really love talking with you and
Oh,
love
bless
watching
you.
your show. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
bless you.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome. I love, you know, I really do get excited. And it does, like I say, you don't have to want to do everything that you do, but it's nice to share in somebody else's adventure. And I know I said I was a little bit envious, but it's not, you know, I'm really pleased for you because it's lovely. And it's nice to see that mother and daughter, how your relationship has grown. But the love and the, I don't know, it's just lovely to see. I know there's not words sometimes. It's just lovely to see. When there's a lot of other things going on in the world, it's just nice to focus on some really good stuff and see what can be achieved when you put your mind to it. So I'll just pop you out. If you want to just say bye to the listeners, and if you don't mind waiting, and then I'll just say bye personally before you go.
Okay.
All right, everyone. See you out on the trail.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Oh, what amazing two people. I love chatting with them, and I love to catch up with him. It's been a great chat. And what a cute puppy. Oh my God. Scout is an amazing young woman, and what she's going to become when she's a full adult. Oh my goodness, the world is an oyster, and there's nothing that I don't think she's capable of trying. If she puts her mind to it, she wants to do it. And she is a credit to herself, like I said, and also to a lovely mum, Michelle, as well. And you can just see that when you see them and listen to them. So thank you very much for everybody that stopped on by and made a comment. I'll put all the details at the end of this podcast and the book about Scout's book as well. And then if you've got any messages that you want to send to Scout and Michelle, just do that through their Facebook page and they'll get back to you. Thank you again. Take care and speak to you soon. Bye for now.